What age were you when you got your first tattoo, real quick?
28.
28.
Yeah, that was this one. Late at night in West 4th Street in Manhattan. It was a fucking stupid shit show of a place. But anyway.
Probably got hepatitis.
Probably. So this tattoo in particular, this was the third or fourth tattoo I got. It was for the band 13 that I was in. It's a 1 and a 3, okay?
Uh-huh.
And this guy did it just by happenstance. I was drinking at a bar during the day, and there was a tattoo shop next door. I went in, and this dude, I could tell he took himself very seriously. But since then, I've seen him on TV like 100 times. Like this guy's he's like an artist and I forget his name, Burt Kraken. I think Burt Kraken. It's like an interesting, funny kind of name. But anyway, so
Burt Bacharach.
So no. so I got this, and you just touched upon it that it wasn't socially acceptable. This was after I signed a record deal. I was 28 years old. And I put that on there because this was signifying that I will never have to work for someone else again.
Dude, you know what's funny about that? Let me get something real quick. Hold
okay.
on. My Zippos out. Stand by.
Okay.
I've got something to say to that. This room's all new now, so I don't know where the fuck anything's at. Stand by. We can cut this out. Hold on.
I have to say though, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I had to work. There were other jobs that needed to be had.
I don't want me filling up my Zippo on the podcast.
Oh, you're not gonna light it with that, right?
Dude, I always light it.
No, I thought you joke about this. I thought that was a Zippo with like an insert.
It used to be, and then I fully embraced the.
You're not gonna enjoy that cigar. It's gonna taste like.
Dude, are you kidding me? Or don't tell me you're one of those.
Do you?
Guys.
It's like you work on cars for a living. You're used to having a tailpipe blowing at you,
bro. It's like
that is not good, dude.
Dude, you don't notice. You notice maybe while you're actively drawing through the cigar while it's lit. Within 5 seconds, I bet you if I lit one with this and handed to you and be like, "Hey man, taste this cigar," you would never fucking know.
Hey, know, I'm just thinking of the people I know that actually make cigars, right? And if I went down to Nicaragua with a Zippo and lit that, I don't think I think all the stuff that I do, most of the farmers and actual producers think is so stupid. The toasting of the foot and this, and I'm getting
dude,
this.
Get the fuck out of
here, but that they might actually be like, yeah, here, I have another lighter.
I bet you they wouldn't. Because you know why? Those guys are like salt of the earth fucking guys, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're not near as bougie about it as we tend to make it on this side. You know what I mean?
They would want you to not taste that in their work. That's what I'm saying. Like a Bic, they'll use a Bic. I've used Bics on farms before.
Oh
sure.
Yeah. They're big advocates of the Bic and cutting then the thumbnail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like everybody got all these nice fancy cutters, and the guys that are rolling them are out there just pinching the tops off with their thumb and lighting them with a Bic. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, look, I'm not saying there's not a room for both. I'm not saying there's not room for both. There's a time and a place for everything, right? Like this is a bundle.
That's what she said.
This is a Rocky Patel bundle. It's not a particularly expensive cigar, you know. So like,
dude, I'm not. This isn't a okay. Just remind me, we're getting bundles. You don't have to go anywhere else ever again.
Oh, dude, my boy, dude.
I got you
in business.
I got you.
Just based on me.
I got you.
But you know, if I'm smoking a $20 cigar, am I going to light with a Zippo? Probably not. I'm going to cut it with a nice cutter. I'm going to torch it. I'm going to do all the fancy shit because it's a $20 cigar. But from day to day, when I'm just fucking around, I've got a little Rocky Patel bundle cigar. It's probably $250. I just don't give a fuck.
I think this is a Clark thing for you, and I'll explain that. Clark.
What's a Clark thing?
Clark things are things you do because you know it upsets other people. That's a Clark thing. Clark loves that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? If he knows something bothers you, he cannot help himself. I think he's still growing his hair because I hate it so much. Which sounds bad, but he's a good-looking kid. I like those shorter hair better.
I need to get a haircut, dude. I've been growing my hair out now for probably about 4 months. I haven't got a haircut. And I have decided I'm too fucking old to have long hair. Like when I don't, that's why I wear a hat all the time. When I take my hat off, I look fucking homeless, dude. It's just, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's fucking, it's a bad look, bro.
Come on, let me see. Dude, come on.
Negative.
It can't look that much different. You have a full head of hair.
Yeah, I got a full head of hair, but dude, I've had a hat on since this morning, and it's all like, here.
I'll show you here. I'll show you mine too.
Look at this shit.
That looks cool. What's wrong with that?
Let me fluff it up for you. I look like
you're less intimidating. You are less intimidating.
Like the fucking villain on The Incredibles. You remember the villain on The Incredibles?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking everywhere, bro.
Yeah, it's less of a tough look. I will say that. But hey, you got a good head of hair there. I'm just lucky that my head is shaped very well. I may add.
Yeah, you've got a perfectly round dome.
Cue ball right there, buddy.
There's lots of guys that are bald and they got some. I think my head's fucked up.
Oof. That's why some guys fight going bald so long, because they just don't want to do that.
Because if your head's real janky, then you kind of got to have a look. I prefer, honestly, just to keep my hair short. The problem with keeping your hair short is it requires more maintenance. So
barbershop. I used to love sitting in the barbershop.
Yeah, but it's like, it's just, I
had nothing to do back then, so it was great.
Well, right. Like
now I don't have time for that shit.
Right. I don't have time to go to the barber every week, every 2 weeks and keep everything cleaned up. So
you got to get them to come to you, bro. You're Jeremy Cyrus. You're a boss. You can't be out in public barbershops. Come on. Now.
I wish that was the case.
Come on,
it's
now.
not.
Bro, you got like 600,000 subscribers. I guarantee you that half of them are barbers. I guarantee you that 2 of them live within 10 miles from you. And they would gladly come over to your house for $40, $50. Well, I don't know. What does a haircut cost these days?
I think when I do go to the barber that I go to, I think it's like around $25 for a fade. And then it's different depending on what you're getting. But a bald fade, I think, was usually what I get. And they'll usually do it for around 25. And I usually tip them like 10.
So when I was in the music game.
So $35.
One of the brags was your barber came to you. Like, dudes would flex on that a lot, like having a barber. Like they'd shoot video while they're getting their hair cut at privately. Like that was like a big thing.
Well, that's like the thing, right? Is when your barber and your tattoo artist comes to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's
that's even cooler.
Yeah. Oh, back to the tattoo thing we were talking about earlier. So you were saying that you got the one on your hand as kind of like I'm never going to. That is exactly when I started getting my hands tattooed. I had plenty of other tattoos, but I did not tattoo my hands until I went full-time on YouTube. And I said, you know what? I want this to work. I want to make it work. I don't ever want to go back to working for somebody else again. And I started tattooing my hands.
You walked that plank. You jumped right off of that shit.
I jumped it. I'm like, I'm tattooing my hands.
That's what I did too.
And to my tattoo artist's credit, when I called them and told them that I wanted to get a tattoo on my hand, this was one of the first times I had gone to this tattoo studio. It's one of the reasons I started going to him, because I respect those guys a lot. He said, okay, well, that's fine. We can book you for that. But do you have other tattoos? And I'm like, well, yeah. He's like, well, like how many and where? And I'm like, yeah, I got a sleeve on one arm. He goes, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, why? He's like, well, we don't like to tattoo people's hands that don't have a lot of tattoos because it's a game changer. Yeah. Once you start tattooing your hands, your fingers, your neck, like
no longer the case. That was 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago?
No. This was, I don't guess I started tattooing my hands till about 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Oh, really? So people still feel that way?
Yeah. He said, so we just like to make sure, he goes, we don't like to tattoo hands or fingers on people that don't. He goes, because you get these young guys coming to 18 years old, the first tattoo they want's right on top of their hand, and it's going to, it can screw you up.
I had a tattoo artist do something similar. He was like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm going to, he was right. Listen to your tattoo artist. He's right.
Dude, give your tattoo artist the space to be a tattoo artist, right? Give them a general idea of what you're looking for and then let them do their thing, right? Don't get too overly critical, because they know. Sometimes I've had thoughts in my head of like, oh, I want this as a tattoo. And then I tell it to them and they're like, that's not going to translate, bro. You need to change this or change that. We can do this, but it's not going to look good in tattoo form.
They're professionals. They do it often.
Exactly. So you got to trust those. Don't bargain shop tattoo artists. You don't want to barber. You don't want to fucking bargain shop for tattoos. You don't want to go. It's a permanent thing. Don't bargain shop tattoo guys. Don't try to fucking haggle them down to a cheaper price because that's disrespectful and rude.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
And if you got a good one, respect that they know what they're doing and give them a little fucking leeway to do their thing.
For sure. Bro.
And trust their opinion.
What's going on back there? I see changes have been made. Talk to us.
Dude, yeah. Whole whiskey wall. I ran out of space because I think I've got about 250 or 300 bottles in my collection. And I think if I remember last time I counted. And that little rack I had over there only held about 60, I think. Okay. So I had bottles everywhere, bro, everywhere. It had gotten to where they were stacked up on the floor. Like I just didn't have room for them anymore. So we blew out this whole wall. There was a closet here. And then we had a built back here. I think I can hold somewhere between 160 and 180 bottles on this shelf, depending on the size of the bottles. Wow. 160, 280.
I love the color, man.
Then I got another 150, 200 bottle storage in the built-in cabinetry down below. So I think I can hold. I've got storage for about 400 bottles in here now.
Bro, the color. What color is that?
It's the same color as the room was. It's called asphalt is the color. It's a Home Depot color called asphalt. Yeah, it's the same room the color the room was before. And
Are those Ardbeg bottles, the green ones?
Yeah, those over there.
Wow.
That's this year's committee release, which was Hypernova. Cool. Then there's Ugadal, Wee Beastie, Anoa, and normal Ardbeg 10.
I've had them all. I'm shocked that I've had them all. I was a big Ardbeg guy for a minute.
You got to like the smoky peaty stuff, man. Yeah. A lot of people don't like that. And, it's funny. We talked about it in one of my live streams, I think, a couple weeks ago. I find it hard to pair cigars with Islay scotches, with smoky scotches, because it oftentimes kind of dick stomps them a little bit. It's
the Kentucky fire-cured cigars. They go well with that.
You know what?
I don't smoke those,
told me.
But...
You know what somebody told me, and it's strange, and if you've never tried it, you should try it.
What's that, Jeremy?
Alec Bradley, not Alec Bradley, Alec Rubin, from Alec Bradley Cigars. Mm-hmm. He told me one time, we were talking about it on a live stream, and he was in there, and he said, don't try to compete with the Islay. He's like, actually smoke like a Connecticut with it. He's like, because strangely enough, if you try to go super pungent cigar thinking you're going to compete with it, it ends up never really working. He's like, but if you get a nice Connecticut, it just kind of like accents things. He goes, and strangely enough, it seems counterintuitive, but it actually goes well with a Islay whiskey. And I tried it. He was right. It does go pretty damn well.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So you can pair two ways, right? You can contrast or you can liken, so.
Right.
So like those are the two things. And yeah, that's a really strong one to try to compete with. Or liken to. So I think you just have to trial by error. Listen, what's like that? IPAs are like that, man. That's a tough one if you really want to taste your cigar, but there are a few cigars that you'll figure out really go well with an IPA. And of course, once you're buzzed, everything goes great with anything.
Yeah, everything's great with everything. I can't, and this might piss some people off that are listening to this. I fucking cannot stand an IPA. I just don't like them, bro. I don't like them. I don't like it. Tastes weird, skunky. Tastes like beer that's gone off.
I was addicted to IPA for like a month. Like when IPA first kind of like came around the bend, like when all these microbreweries started popping up, like I was really into it. And
you dig it?
I enjoy that bitter taste. Yes, the grapefruit. When it's done right, I do. Today,
maybe I've just never found one that is done right, because everyone I've ever had just tasted a little off to me, like something wasn't right. I just didn't enjoy it, and it gave me the.
Do you like grapefruit juice? Do you like grapefruit juice?
Yeah, I mean it's okay. There's actually, you ever drink those? I think they're called sparkling ice. It's like it's a clear bottle. It's like carbonated water with fruit flavor. It's like, but it's not like a LaCroix. It's actually fruit flavor, right? LaCroix is like if you waved fruit past water, right? That's the most ridiculous shit ever. People that like LaCroix are full of shit. Nobody likes that stuff. It tastes horrible. It tastes like they thought about flavoring something and then changed their fucking mind. It's the worst shit. It's horrible.
Are you talking
the
about
fuck
the club soda with flavoring?
Yeah, LaCroix.
We go through so much of that shit. It's insane.
Fucking stuff is
my
garbage,
gosh.
bro. Fucking garbage.
It's just flavored sparkling water. What's the big deal? I love it, and we can't keep it in the house because when guests come, they're always drinking it. So we keep it around.
Everybody drinks it, and I think you guys are all a bunch of fucking liars. Everybody. Everybody's trying to pretend like they like it because it's the fancy water. Like, fuck all you guys.
It's refreshing, but I do want to bring this up. This is something that's been on my mind for a long time.
What's that? Sparkling
water and water are not the same thing, are they? And I don't mean that in a sarcastic, like one has bubbles, one doesn't. But
I thought it was just like spring water that they put
bubbles in.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is when they put the bubbles in it, it changes in your body. It doesn't hydrate you the same way. So I know this because I've been cutting, right? And so I know this because I've been really going hard at it. And when I'm drinking,
you're looking good, by the way.
Thank you very much. I'm working my ass off and I'm enjoying it, and it's become another challenge for me to.
Maybe I'll get inspired and start trying to do it myself.
Bro, you're already in great shape, man. I was 30 pounds heavier than this.
Bro, get out of here. I'm skinny fat.
Yeah, that's
fine. Look at this belly, dude.
There's nothing wrong with that, man.
It's happy weight, bro.
I was getting a little out of control there. So, okay. Yeah, it doesn't do the same thing. My father's friend was a scientist, and he planted this idea in my head, and he told me, be careful how much carbonated water you drink. It does something different.
So I wonder, I'll have to do a little digging on it. I always thought that it was just fucking carbonated water. It was just still water, so it still hydrated you the same, and it still did all the same shit.
Let's see here.
I actually really like... And it's kind of a thing right now, and I liked it before it really caught on, and now it's kind of become kind of trendy, so I don't buy it as much because it's like, oh, God. People almost like when they see you holding the can, they're like, but the Liquid Death.
I love Liquid Death. It's just as hydrating as regular water. However, tap water has the added benefit of fluoride. Who the hell asked that? Is it okay? No, I don't know if I'd go by that one.
Liquid Death. What I like to do is I get the plain one that's just carbonated, right? And then there are these Publix sells them, but they have the brand name, which is like Mio, but Publix has the off brand, which is cheaper, so I buy the off brand because I'm a cheap ass. They have a cherry limeade drops. Have you ever had the little Mio drops? They're little flavor drops. You put like 3 or 4 drops in some water.
Every asshole in Tampa carries that around with them.
Yeah, dude. I get the cherry limeade one, so it's cherry lime flavor, and then I get the unflavored Liquid Death, and I pop it, and I just put like one little squirt of that cherry lime in there. Dude, it's fucking delicious. I drink the shit out of those things.
When I lived in Tampa, a lot of guys would use that. I never tried it.
Yeah, dude,
they would put it in vodka and soda and that.
Oh, yeah, I don't drink it with liquor. I just drink the brown stuff. Bro.
Listen, this study from UCLA, man, says that people who drink sparkling water gain more weight than those that did not. That's what my friend. Yeah.
I mean, I drink water. I carry this big ass Yeti around with me all day.
Really? You carry it around with you?
Yeah, it's just everywhere I'm at, dude. This is going to be within reach.
Okay, cool. Smart.
It's because it's got a lid, it screws off, and it's got like a bottle spout on it. So, but it keeps my water cold all day, and I try to drink like 3 or 4 of these a day at least. So I drink a lot of water, but sometimes, like, especially when I'm eating food, I want something fizzy. I want like a soda
Agreed.
When I'm eating, dude, I don't like to drink water with food. Maybe it's weird, but
nah.
I don't.
I think a lot of people, I think most people, we've been trained that way since birth, soda with every meal.
Right. So when I eat is when I like to bust out, like, either I'll drink a diet soda, but these days I've heard diet sodas are just as bad for you as regular soda.
They're not as bad for you by way of sugar. They're bad for you by no one knows what that chemical does over time.
Right. Well, and then I saw something which
my wife loves Diet Dr. Pepper, bro.
Dude, I drink your wife. See me and your wife,
bro. Diet Dr. Pepper's serious issue around here, man. Like we talk about it.
It tastes just like the real thing, bro. I think it's even better.
It's got something to it. It does taste good, and it's got something to it that often I'll try it, and I'm like, that is the worst thing I've ever had. And then other times I try it, and I'm like, oh, there's nothing like that. It's weird. It's got a distinct
when it's ice cold, bro. When it's ice cold, like if you go to like a place that has the good ice, you know, when I say the good ice, you know the ice I'm talking about, the soft, crunchy ice, the good ice, little pellet ice.
Everyone
you go to a
knows
place
that
that's got the good ice, a gas station that's got the good ice, and you get a styrofoam cup, put some Diet Dr. Pepper in here so it stays nice and cold.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah.
I'll drink 80 ounces of that shit. It's
I'm
so
a can.
good.
I'm out of the can guy. I put it in the freezer for about 20 minutes before. Just don't forget that it's in the freezer.
Yeah, because I should have.
That's
I've
never
made some
fun.
messes.
Yeah. So you know what else I like? Half frozen. I'll take. If I don't give a damn, if I'm just like, whatever, let's eat it, whatever. Great. Well, I haven't done this in years, but Welch's grape juice, I put it in the freezer.
Oh.
And I wait until it's got like the core of it's like frozen, then I shake it up. It's like a slushy, and it's so good.
Yeah, dude. Does Welch's grape juice always make you go?
Of course.
Does it make you make that noise?
Yeah, I don't know about the noise, but yeah, love that.
It's like every time
you ever
I
have
take
the
a sip,
white?
I'm like,
you ever have the white grape juice?
My kids, I used to buy that for my kids all the time when they were little. Like that was like, we thought we were doing good. We're buying them grape juice. It's not soda. It's like, yeah, it's as much fucking sugar in it as the soda, not more.
These kids are strung out on sugar and chicken fingers, man.
We tried so hard not to let that happen, but I don't know. It still managed to creep in to a certain degree.
Yes.
I don't know if it's society or what, but like
it's the food of our nation, man. That's what it is.
This is an interesting thing we could talk about in here because I'm curious. Because you're my age, we're almost identical. Yeah. Actually, your birthday's coming up because mine's coming up, and I know mine
August
your birthday's
22nd.
Right
Yours is
okay. So yeah, mine's May 31st. Mine's the end of this month.
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna send you a gift.
So no, you send me gifts all the time. I get all these cigars you guys send me. But I have noticed, and I'm curious to see what you think. People from our generation are not as picky of eaters. Like when I grew up, I ate whatever. Like if mom made meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and corn or whatever, I ate it. If she made fucking kale and ham and potatoes,
you didn't have
whatever,
a choice. There was no choice.
We just ate it. That's what we ate. And I didn't bitch about it.
Or you didn't eat.
Right, exactly. Like there were a few things, but in general, I liked most of it. Like even spinach. My mom used to joke around because I used to think I was Popeye, and I would eat cold spinach out of the can like Popeye would in the thing. So, I mean, I ate spinach, I ate kale, I ate green beans, I ate all the vegetables. The only vegetable I never really cared for is I'm not a huge Brussels sprout guy, and I don't care for okra. Okra is weird.
Bro, slimy. I just had okay, so listen, I didn't know okra is slimy. I've eaten okra several times, probably mostly fried, but I've also seen it like in a salad or something. So I ran out of vegetables, and I was like, I need vegetables. Like, I got to eat something. And so we had a half a bag of okra. I put it in the microwave and pulled it out, put some olive oil, salt on it, and I went to take
It's like you blew your fucking nose on it.
I was like, what is this? It must have gone bad. I thought it went bad.
No, dude,
like, that's what it looks like.
No, dude, okra is some slimy ass shit. So I don't like okra, but other than like maybe 2 or 3 things, I don't like eggplant either. But other than just a couple vegetables, I would eat pretty much anything. Mm-hmm. My kids, dude, it's like fucking pulling teeth with the vegetables and stuff, man. I don't understand it.
So our kid eats like a scientist raised it, and we're so thrilled about that. But this year she's in pre-K, and the personalities are becoming more influential. They're becoming more real people, and by the way, some of these parents are very successful people. And when they see Elle eat, they're like, "How did you do that?" But I will say this: she's already at 5 now. This is a kid who had to have vegetables like with every meal. Like she loved them. Now she's starting to be like, wanting more mostly all she wants to eat is like carbs, which is rice and stuff.
Right, that's my daughter.
If she goes to a party though, like it's all cake and fried foods and all that stuff.
Well, see, that's the thing. Isn't it when our kids were babies, they would eat whatever. Like, because we didn't give them bullshit. We even made the baby food. We're that much hippies about stuff like that. We would like make the baby food ourselves, like cook the vegetables and mash them up kind of thing.
That's cool.
And so growing up, they ate whatever, but then they got to be about when they school age, kindergarten, first grade. And all of a sudden their appetite started leaning toward chicken nuggets and fucking bullshit. And then it was like, why is this happening? We're still offering them all the same foods. Why are they now like turning their nose up at stuff that a month ago they liked? You know, I don't.
Right.
So I don't know if it's society, if it's schools, if it's other kids. I don't know what it is, but it's a pain in the ass.
No, it's just the food
they grow
of our
out
nation.
of it, by the way, just for your knowledge, because now that my oldest is back to eating whatever again. He went through about a 8-year, 9-year span where it was like torture getting him to eat certain things, and now that he's like late teens, he eats whatever again. So I think they grow out of it, but it's just, I don't know, man. It's weird.
And they're more conscious now. The information's out there. Once they start caring about how they look at stuff, they're gonna go, oh shit, what am I eating here? You know?
My daughter, and it's funny that you said your daughter likes carbs, because my boys never were like that. They liked meat and stuff. They were iffy on vegetables and stuff, but they would always eat meat. My daughter, we used to call her a carbitarian, because like if it wasn't a fucking carb, she wasn't interested, man. Like she would eat bread with pasta. Like that was like, you know, and I was like, you got to eat some fucking meat. You got to have some protein in your diet. If you don't want to eat meat, eat some beans, eat a fucking egg, eat something with some protein. But you know, lately I started doing hibachi because I got this big flat top thing.
Oh, dude, you're crushing it, man. I gotta come up there, bro.
Dude, my hibachi's better than any Japanese steakhouse, bro.
I gotta come up there for that. I'm a hibachi fanatic.
Bro, I crushed the hibachi. She loves the hibachi steak. She fucking loves it. She mows it. And she normally won't eat steak, but when I do the hibachi steak, she loves it.
Feels cleaner.
Yeah, it's great, dude.
Bro,
and I've got fried rice down. I think we talked about this.
Really? No, we did not talk about this. This is a new chapter. I got the lard, Jeremy. Now I'm getting the hibachi, Jeremy.
The hibachi, I talked to the hibachi guy at my local place because my fried rice was never coming out right. Now we were eating hibachi one night.
It's not easy to do. I've tried.
And I'm like, man, what's the fucking trick? My goddamn fried rice it's never right. Like what? He's like, you got to use old rice. He's like, you cook the rice, put it in a bowl, put it in the refrigerator, let it completely cool down, or the next day.
Yeah.
Because
that makes perfect sense.
He goes, what you're doing is you're probably cooking your rice and you're putting it on here while it's still warm. So it's never stopping cooking and it's overcooking and it gets mushy and weird. He's like, let it completely cool down, at least a few hours in the fridge, or better off the next day. Yeah. So we started doing that. We would make the rice the day before, and I'd put it in the fridge, and man, put some butter on that damn flat top, throw that damn rice on there with some egg and stuff, and a little bit of soy sauce. Dude, it comes out.
I'm all in. But back to the Two Cool Dads podcast on how to raise kids.
Right.
The one thing that we did differently than most people was there was this thing called I've never been able to say it right for some reason. Legume,
like a.
No, it like sounds like that, but it's not. No, it's leg weaning. I forget what it was called, but baby led weaning or something like that. But you never do baby food at all. We never fed her any baby food whatsoever. We just skipped right over it.
So you just went from titty milk to
oh Jesus, yes,
titty milk, bro. You went straight from the booby. You went straight from the booby to like.
Anything. There's a famous picture of my kid at like maybe 2 with a huge lamb chop in her mouth.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude.
So like we did, it was mostly I think like vegetables, steamed vegetables, and. So we did baby-led weaning, it was called. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but baby-led weaning, and we went straight from, like you said, the boob to just anything. Everything we ate, she ate.
Well, here's the thing, man. There's got to be something to that, because here, for thousands and thousands and tens of thousands and years, I should probably say, before modern people, baby food didn't fucking exist, right? The kids suckled on the booby until they had teeth, and then they started eating the same food the parents ate, right? I'm sure in the 1500s they didn't have fucking Gerber, right? You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, there's probably something to that.
What a company, Gerber. Well, I love the branding. It's still such a classic.
It's a cute baby on that fucking Gerber bottle.
Such a classic.
It's a cute baby.
Gerber.
But dude, that stuff's a ripoff though. It's expensive as shit. We used to look at the price of baby food and what it takes to make it. We would just like buy like butternut squash or whatever.
Yeah.
The wife would steam it, and then when it was steaming, she would just mash it up real good.
Smart.
And then she would actually put it in ice cube trays and freeze it so that we had little cubes of whatever, and we were ready to feed them. We would just take it out, put it in a bowl, put it in the microwave, warm it up a little bit, and then you got baby food on demand. And it's no preservatives, no nothing. It's just the vegetable,
That's pretty cool.
My wife was a hippie, bro.
There's a new product out. It's basically like a blender, but it's like made for that. It's like got a timer or something. I forget what it was. My wife almost got that. She wanted to do that too.
Yeah.
So what else is new, man? So you got this beautiful new bar. It looks gorgeous.
I'm not quite done yet. I got done enough to do the podcast today because I knew we had this doing, but I've still got some tinkering to do to finish off some things and get it. But yeah, I mean, I needed to make it a little better for my workflow. When I originally designed this room, it was a cigar room. Yeah. And then I quickly decided, well, shit, I do a lot of cigar videos. So obviously I'm going to film in here. And I designed it more for like being a little lounge and not for filming. So it didn't always work out great for filming. So I moved some things around. I changed some things. I gained a little bit of depth this way by tearing out that closet and gave myself a little more room for cameras and stuff. And yeah, man, I'm pretty happy with it. I think this will be good.
It looks beautiful. So good job.
Well, thanks, buddy.
You remember that girl that died in the was it the Bahamas? You remember when we were younger? This must be 20 years ago now. There was a girl, a tourist. She went down to
the Bahamas, huh?
Was it Bermuda or the Bahamas?
I know a lot of tourists have died in Mexico and some other countries, but the Bahamas, I don't remember. I mean, I'm not saying it never happened, but I don't remember.
Natalie Holloway.
What'd she die from? Somebody killed her?
Yeah. So let me find out where it was so I can.
Bermuda, Bahama.
Come on. I was thinking the same thing, man. We're getting.
Dude, you can't. If you were raised in the era of Cocktail, remember that movie with Tom Cruise?
Oh, dude, I love that.
Boy, dude, he's kind of a weird guy, huh?
Yo, that's a great way to say it. He is kind of a weird guy, man, but
well, the weird thing is, though, man, like in movies and stuff, he seems pretty normal. And even in a lot of interviews, he kind of can seem normal. But then you find out about all that, and I don't even want to say the word because I've heard they come after people and shit. They're like a fucking, kind of a thing. But I don't know, man. It's like the goddamn Illuminati almost. It's a weird situation, that group.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So we'll come back to that in a sec because this is
I will say he's aged really well. He must be drinking baby blood or something because that dude
the same thing.
Dude, he has aged remarkably well. Like, look at the difference between the way he's aged and then the guy that co-starred with him in Top Gun. Unfortunately, he's passed away now, poor guy. But look at Val Kilmer compared to Tom Cruise.
Val Kilmer die?
Yeah.
He didn't die.
I'm pretty sure
he beat throat cancer or something.
I thought he died.
He's dead? He passed away? Okay, he passed away. All right.
I thought he passed away. But even before he got sick, and then obviously things went downhill because when you're sick like that, your body just does weird shit. But even before that, though, like 10 years prior to him getting sick, you look at the way he aged in comparison to Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise almost looks the same. You take the camera just a tiny bit out of focus, and you can't even fucking tell that's the same guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Val Kilmer didn't age well, but he had bad cancer, and he is still alive, though.
Is he?
I know that because they did a documentary on him on something.
I thought he died, and I thought that was a whole thing.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes,
I'm looking it up.
I'm positive. What? They killed him off in the movie because he couldn't talk. But, hey, so check this out. So there's Natalie Holloway. She disappears in Aruba on vacation. She's from Mississippi. It's a huge deal. No one ever finds the body. They thought that these two kids were involved. One of them, his dad was the governor.
I think you're right. I think he is still alive. I'm sorry, Brian.
Yeah. No, it's all good.
I could have swore he died.
No, he didn't. He didn't die. He almost died.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of almost
scratch
dying,
that, Val.
we'll come.
Not that he'll ever see this, but I'm sorry. I thought you were dead, bro.
There's more to that though. You just said something that reminded me of something else. But anyway, so this guy. So it turns out, this dude whose father's like the governor or like a senator or something there, he gets away with it, but everyone knows that it was him. 10, 15 years later, his friend, someone that he was friends with, got him on camera basically saying that, look, we took drugs, she OD'd, and we just dumped her in the ocean, basically.
Bro, no statute of limitations on murder.
So, yeah, but so now he's in South America, and he's working his way through South America. Apparently, he's like some sort of professional gambler. And he kills another woman in Peru.
Jesus.
I know.
So this guy's a real fucking piece of work,
He's a real piece of shit. Okay, and so he escapes to either Ecuador or Chile, like a neighboring country, but then gets pulled back. And he's been in jail there for probably, if I have to guess, I'd say 5 or 6 years on this other charge. This is 12 years after the first one, whatever. And now I think they're going to extradite him to the U.S. so they can lock him up here too. But I would imagine Peruvian prison's worse than.
His ass should have gone to wherever Snowden went that doesn't extradite.
Matter of fact, bro, this is such a story because I think he got married down there.
What a piece of shit, bro.
He got married.
Some girl OD'd and he just throws her off the fucking boat. What a piece of dirt, bro.
Oh, yeah, the guy's a piece of shit. And then he killed another one.
So this guy needs to be in jail. Okay,
oh, for sure.
This guy needs to be in prison or dead, one or the other. I'm a big fan of, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm a big fan of if you kill somebody and it's undisputable that you did it, right? We don't want any mistaken bullshit. Like, you know, there's a ton of evidence and there's no disputing. You are 100% guilty. This isn't a mistake. You have eyewitnesses, you have DNA, you have pictures, you know, you have all the things. You know for a fact this person did it. Just fucking express lane those sons of bitches to the electric chair, man. Why are we wasting resources keeping these fuckers alive for 50 years in prison? Just take them out. You reading the article?
Yeah, so I agree with you. I'm pretty sure I agree that
you didn't hear a fucking word I said. I did. You know, I really like to suck a dick real slow, and you'd have been like, "I agree." You didn't hear a fucking word.
I heard you, but I was doing some fact checking and stuff. Bro, this guy, even in prison, he married a Peruvian woman in prison. Are you fucking kidding me? After he murdered 2 women, this woman married, and he got convicted of drug trafficking in the prison recently. So this guy's not in a bad enough prison then. We need to put him. They need to just bury him. What are we paying to keep these guys alive for? And that's what you were saying. That's
what I'm saying. Like, in a situation where, now look, there are situations where people get convicted of murder and they're innocent and it's bad. It's a bad call, right? But it's pretty rare. The system works most of the time. But my point is, if there's a way that we can be sure, if like they confess or if there's just overwhelming evidence, or here's another one, these people that get convicted multiple times. Okay, if you've been in prison 3 times for something heinous, for rape, murder, like the bad shit. I'm not talking about like, you know, little bullshit stuff. But, you know, if you've been convicted multiple times on murder, rape, all this horrible shit, fucking quit letting them out and just put them down. They're like a dog that's got rabies. They just need to be put down, bro. Like, just stop it.
But you can't. But you never know if someone's truly innocent or guilty. Sometimes, but on the third time, they've been convicted. Sure. No, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen. How do you feel? How do you feel about like euthanasia, like homeless people? Like there are some homeless cases out there that are incurable. It looks like there's nothing you can do.
Bro, I mean, I don't know about like putting a homeless person down just because they're homeless. That's pretty fucking ruthless. I
was just asking a question.
I mean, that's a little ruthless. But
what do you do with these people then?
I mean, but I was gonna say I don't know about killing them. That's a little rough. But I will say, I saw a clip of. Say that you should kill. You said euthanasia, bro.
I said, what do you think about it? It doesn't mean that I want it.
I think that's pretty harsh, man. I don't think you should be killing people just because they're homeless. That's a little rough. But Have you seen? I saw a clip. I thought that's what you were advocating, and I'm like, this motherfucker.
I'm not saying I'm
Jesus, he just went dark. I was
This
like,
is the
bro.
one thing. This is my one thing, Jeremy. Just
Yeah,
kill him. Yeah.
You're normally like way easier on shit than I am, and you're like, yeah, man, you're a little harsh. I don't know, Jeremy. I think you're taking a hard stance, but kill all the fucking homeless people. Those motherfuckers. But I saw a clip of LA. Somebody was photoing or videotaping. Like, oh my God.
Oh, it's so
I didn't
bad.
realize how bad it had gotten.
They've cleaned it up recently a little bit, because there was a time during the beginning of COVID where there were just cities of people.
Dude, it's still bad. This was a recent clip I saw, and it's rough. And I'm like, this is exactly why. And I don't want to get political. I've actually heard people say, oh, when you guys get political, I just turn it off. I'm not getting political, but here's the deal. California, one of the most liberal states, also has the most gun control and all this shit, and they're not in very good shape. So all I'm saying is maybe that fucking thought process doesn't work. That's all I'm going to say.
So there's a lot of people out there that used to love San Francisco that say the city is ruined as of now.
Again, extremely liberal, lots of gun control, liberal mentality, and look where it's going. I'm just saying.
I lived in LA and I've seen this, right? And so I see the signs forming here a little bit. And so I question, if I were the mayor of this town, I mean, do mayors do shit? I don't even understand. But if I were the mayor, you know, like in the movies, I would definitely be looking to nip this in the butt now, because it can get out of control.
Oh, dude, it can get real bad. And it's a tough thing, right? Because what do you do? Okay, and I understand it's a complex issue. I'm not just saying, oh, whatever, just euthanize them all. I'm not saying that. But, like, what do you do with them, right? Because you can't just kick them out. Where are they going to go?
If you can figure out the answer to this question, it's worth at least $1 billion to someone.
Right. I mean, I forgot the exact number, but I forgot how many billions of dollars they spend in California on the homeless issue every year. And it just keeps getting worse. And it just keeps getting worse and worse.
That's why you have to increase taxes when you're taking care of everyone. That's just the way it is. So, you know,
it's a weird thing, dude.
Nonetheless.
Oh, dude. Not again. I don't know if this is political or not. I guess this is political. I try not to get too much into political stuff because people
doesn't sound like it to me.
Based on the comments, people don't care for it. But we talk about topical stuff, current events, and this is current shit that's going on. So it's hard not to like bring it up. Did you see the thing with I'm sure you did, with the raising the interest rates for people with good credit and lowering the interest rates for the people with bad credit shit?
I did not see that. Who's doing this?
Who you think?
I'm just saying, but where is this a national thing, a state thing, a bank?
Yeah, I think it's a national thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's good. So
old. You'll have access to higher interest rates for savings accounts if you have a better credit score?
No, it's on loans, right? So from what I understand, and if I'm
but that's the way it is now. It's already like that.
No. So I'm off on this. I don't want to get massacred in the comments if I misquote something, but my understanding of it is basically they changed the interest rate structure to help give aid to people that are lower income and worse credit scores. So if you are at a certain income and have a certain credit score, your interest rates are actually going to go up a little bit, because historically speaking, higher your income, better your credit score, the lower interest rates you get. So because you're lower risk.
So this is the opposite.
So it's the opposite. So people that are of a higher credit score, they're going to take a ding and they're going up 1/4 of a point or 1/2 a point or whatever, so that they can redistribute that point down to people with lower credit scores and give them a better rate. Wow. And it's like, bro.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
That's not going to work. It's just not going to work, man. The more wealth you have, the more opportunities become open to you. It's just the way it is. And you jump up levels and you start to see, oh, so that's how, this is done.
Well, and that's like somebody else mentioned the other day, which is a good point. Everybody thinks tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. We need to do this. It's like, well, when you tax the rich, what happens is that is going to trickle down to you. because if their taxes are higher and they've got a business they're trying to run, they're going to have to raise their prices to make up for the extra money,
or fire
and then everything
people.
just gets. Yeah, and it's a bad situation. I mean, not to say you shouldn't tax the rich. You should absolutely tax everybody.
I think that there should just be a sales tax, no income tax whatsoever.
The fair tax kind of thing.
Just a sales tax, like whatever
Well,
you.
it's fair tax. And I don't.
I didn't know. I don't know.
I don't know the ins and outs of it completely. My father-in-law passed away now, great guy, but he was a big fair tax guy, and he explained it to me once years and years and years ago. But basically, yeah, there's a tax on all goods. So the more you consume, the more you're taxed. The less you consume, the less you're taxed. And it just kind of keeps it even. You get rid of income tax altogether, and you tax goods and services.
Yeah, you also don't need all those IRS people, taking the money for their salaries. It pays, so it's like
that's another fucking scam.
It's just all crazy, man. That's all crazy.
But anyway, I'll get off of that stuff because people get irritated when we get into that. It's just, like I said, it's hard not to at least mention it because we talk about current events and that shit's going on. Of
course. So, but just to get back to this, I was always fascinated with this case of this woman, and it looks like.
So he overdosed her, or she overdosed herself, and then he didn't have the common decency to take her ashore and get her buried properly. He just dumps her in the water like a piece of shit.
Yes.
Then he moved.
That's what he said. That's what he said with a hidden camera, so no one knows if that's even true. He then went.
He could have just killed the bitch, and then
and then he went and killed someone in Peru. So he's a murderer, man. Yeah.
Kills her, and then So how dare you? How fucking dare you, sir? How dare you? But yeah, that's kind of like the kind of reminds me a little bit of the what was the one back in the day that I think Christopher Walken was involved in? Natalie Wood?
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, wasn't Christopher Walken involved in something with Natalie Wood? They went on a boat and she disappeared.
Oh no, that wasn't Christopher Walken. Who was that? That was another guy. I don't think he's that popular anymore.
But it was Natalie Wood, right? Or maybe Christopher Walken was married to Natalie Wood at the time when she died. Maybe that was Christopher Walken has some kind of connection to it. I don't remember what it is.
He was on the boat. Let me see. Oh, come on.
We need to hire a.
Robert Wagner.
Robert Wagner. But wasn't she married to Christopher Walken at the time? Why do I think Christopher Walken's attached to that somehow? We need a producer like Joe Rogan has, a Jamie, a guy that's in the back like pulling shit up for us.
William Bronca's supposed to be doing this for us. Oh, damn. Jerry Brown? Wait, sure.
Why do I think Christopher Walken had something to do with it? You're looking at my guy all wrong. Stab you in the eye with a soldering iron. You do a pretty good Christopher Walken, if I'm not mistaken.
Coming on my boy all wrong.
He's got that like fluctuation in his voice. That's
they say it removes the punctuation.
So good.
I see it in Natalie Wood how Christopher Walken became linked to a suspicious death.
Okay, he was on the boat, I think.
Oh, he was on the boat.
She was with her husband and him, and they woke up and she was gone.
Okay, I thought I remember him having some kind of connection to it somehow. I couldn't remember if he was married to her.
She drowned.
Supposedly, right? But then there's like all this controversy on whether or not that was the case or whatever.
Bro, there's another guy, an actor, who had his wife killed in Studio City. He was never convicted of it, but people knew about it. And he was asked about it in an interview with, I think, Piers Morgan, and dude flipped the fuck out. Why would you, is there really an amount of money that is worth taking someone's life, even if you believe that they were put here on earth just to torment you? At some point, it is a free country.
Money. I'll do it for free.
But I'm saying, like a woman, or partner, partner.
Oh, I thought you meant just like
a partner that goes crazy and takes it all out on you.
Oh, no. I thought you were talking about just in general. Like
it's still a free country.
Somebody molest one of my kids?
Of course, not talking about that. But I'm saying, like, if you married someone and it turned out that they were absolutely nuts, Under no, like, you can hide from them. You can go away. Like, you can figure, yes, it is an inconvenience. Yes, that shouldn't be the case. But if it does become the case, but you don't kill that person. I mean, what kind of sick person, like, has their partner?
No,
There's someone else. I saw another story of someone that was almost tried to have their husband killed. Like, really? It's
dude.
permanent, man.
Here's the thing, man. Why you want to kill people? Now, like what I said, if somebody does something horrific to one of your loved ones, then I think you should get a free pass personally. but like, just because somebody's annoying or they're crazy, like, if they haven't done anything horrible, like, why would you kill them? Like, my ex-wife, like, I was married once before, long time ago. And, I mean, she went kind of crazy. And you know what I did? I divorced her. There's no reason to kill people. You just leave them. You know what I mean? You leave them and you say, you know what? We don't work anymore, and you move on.
Cannot understand, like, what kind of situation you're in where you think and it's
where you think killing is the best answer for, like, not
like but what I'm saying is, like, let's say the guy had $10 million. So if she divorced him and she's gonna get the 5, is it really worth it to take someone's life to keep an extra $5 million in the 80s when $5 million meant you were stupid rich?
No,
so, like,
I mean, when it comes to that kind of thing, the answer is no. There's no amount of money that I would want to put that kind of mark on my soul, so to speak, for eternity, just for money. No, there's no amount of money. However, you fuck with one of my kids, I'll take that mark gladly and remove you from the planet post haste. You know what I mean? Like, you don't mess with somebody's kids, man. That's oh, dude, here's another one. Have you seen this shit? And here's the thing. I don't think this is terribly, like, a real thing. I think it's just a fringe crazy group of people. But it just goes to show you how fucking nuts people are these days. Have you seen this group of people that they're arguing for not being mean to pedophiles, and they're calling them youth attracted people?
What?
Yeah. It's kind of like the same people that are in the trans movement and all these different these people that think you should accept everybody regardless of what's going on, and they're saying that pedophiles are a marginalized group, and we should stop calling them pedophiles. We should stop having them register because these people are already marginalized enough, and they're youth attracted people.
What news station are you watching?
No, it wasn't a news
where are
station.
you getting this? Huh?
It wasn't a news station, bro. It's on social media. They show all these clips of these people talking about it. And I mean, it's a fringe group, certainly. I'm not saying this is mainstream, like a popular thing, but there is a group of people out there. This is how crazy people are these days. There's a group of people out there that think pedophiles are marginalized and they should be called youth attracted people.
Wow, that's crazy.
Shit's wild, man. The world is a weird place these days. Here's a good question, and this kind of takes it out of the political realm a little bit, but still touches on it. Do you think the world's crazier these days than it's ever been, or do you think we just have more access to the information? So it's always been this way. We just know about it now because of social media.
Both.
A little bit of both. It's a little crazier, and we know a lot.
It's crazier because there's more people, and it's also crazier because we all have access to each other's information, and we have to pick a poison of seeing or hearing this, all of these things. And sometimes they get blown out of proportion, sometimes they don't. But, like, it's just the spread of information and the growth in population, to me, make it crazier than it's ever been. Sure. Right?
Because, like, this group, this youth attracted people, right? These people that think that that's a thing. It's probably an extremely small segment of people that are in that group that feel that way. And 20 years ago, I probably would have never even heard about it because it's some little fringe group of weirdos that nobody ever heard of. But because of social media today, these people are posting shit online, and then somebody sees it, and then of course they share it because they're like, look at this crazy fuck. And then, then it makes it seem like it's a whole thing when really it's like 100 people in the entire country that feel that way.
And I think there's a lot of that in a lot of subjects, but we're at this time in the world of acceptance where everyone wants to be accepted, and there are some types of people, the general population is willing to accept, and some that are not, but over time they will accept most of them. The pedophile thing, I think, is a little bit crazy, and like you said, I think we're talking about, you know, a few people. I will say this, however, near my warehouse, there are 2 trailer parks, and the UPS
Every
guy
good story starts with trailer park.
the UPS guy told me that one of the trailer parks is a pedophile trailer park.
Oh,
and I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, there are places that are set up for people that are pedophiles to live in, like a community, because it's really hard for them to get address, or maybe the address, like you just said, maybe it's geographically it makes them not have to register in certain places, but whatever, maybe they're getting back on their feet after I don't know, but he was like, that place is it's every one of those trailers is someone that was convicted of. I was like, wow, okay.
Well, here's what I'll say about that. There are different levels of pedophile, right? If you're 20 years old and you get convicted of something because you had sex with a 17-year-old girl, like
I think
technically
17 is legal, really. They say 18, but in most states 17 is. So let's say a 16-year-old girl. What about a 16-year-old?
But my point is, somebody that's very young, having sex with somebody, with somebody else that's also young but has matured. They're a mature person, right? So you're talking about a person that physically, maybe not mentally, but physically. So you're talking about somebody 16, 17 years old having sex with somebody 20, 21, 22.
Yeah.
Technically against the law, but I would say that's not a smart decision, but I don't know that I would say that person's sick, right? Mm-hmm. Now, you got somebody that's older than whatever trying to mess with kids that are like young, like get the fuck out of here.
To Catch a Predator? Did you ever see that show? Oh my God.
Those people need to be
what is happening?
But here's the thing, dude. From what I understand, people that are like pedophiles and they mess with kids, it's just, they're just always like that. There's no reforming them from that.
So I know a guy, man. We should have him on the thing. I know a guy who is a probation officer strictly for pedophiles. He is trying to become like the head person of his division, and you have to spend X amount of time reforming them. And so,
but here's the thing: from what I understand, you can never make that. From what I understand, like
I talked to him a little bit about it, and it just sounded to me like a heroin addict or a crack addict. Like they can't. Yeah, it's you just have to set these rules in place, and they have to follow them. If they don't, that's it, done.
But yeah, because here's the thing: if somebody's just attracted to 8-year-olds, right? We can't let those people out in public, bro. Like, period.
No, but this is what. Listen to me. I'm okay with the idea that maybe there's something genetically, DNA, your brain structure, whatever, that makes you attracted to a child. However, just because you're attracted to something, I don't care if I had to spend the rest of my life denying myself of any sexual pleasure if it meant that children weren't being touched. Are you fucking kidding me? That's where to me, that's the real sickness is I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying that sometimes you can't help the way you're born. And while I do believe that you can brainwash yourself into becoming someone, I think a lot different or a lot more progressed, at the same time, like it's the act of doing it that is, you can fantasize about anything. That's your brain. Like there are thoughts that you can have that don't. But when you do things in reality,
it's acting on it. Right?
That's when they're real. That's when they become real. That's when.
But from what I understand, it's almost like, and like I said, this is just stuff I've heard and read about this because I'm always paranoid about pedophiles because I got young kids, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm always like on the defense with this shit. It's almost like a compulsion that they can't resist it, right? So they
make a drug. It's called liquid castration, and it prevents you from. And some of them get it prescribed to them.
So,
but you're right. And so let's take the kid thing out of it because that's uncomfortable, right? So
my point is you can't have those people walking around, man.
Well, right. But that's what I'm saying. So, but take the kid thing out of it. Let's take the kid thing out of it for a second. And this is what I mean by that is let's forget about the fact that their targets are children. If anyone, man, woman, walks around like a sexual predator. That's called a
Sure.
rapist, and you lock them up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the kid thing is almost secondary. You're telling me that there are people out here that are so horny and so fucked up mentally that they cannot help themselves, but stalking potential prey? No, well, that's what they made jails for. Not for some guy who got caught selling dime bags down the street.
But here's the funny thing about that, right? And I agree with what you're saying. Any sexual predator is a problem. But even rapists don't like pedophiles. You know what I mean? Like I've heard in prison, even people that murder and kill adults, pick on and fuck up and beat up and stuff the pedophiles, because it's like when you make it about kids, it just
William just looked at me and he gives me this. Can you see me? He gives me this. I don't know if he's telling me. Oh, they murdered. Okay.
He's telling us that we've been an hour.
No one likes pedophiles. Pedophiles can't even be in the same population as regular.
But that's what I'm saying, right? So it's like, I agree. Even any sexual predator, even if they're doing it to adults, they need to be in prison. But
for sure,
you add kids to the mix, and it just takes things way up. Because
they're helpless.
That's right. It's the helpless factor.
You can trick them into things. You can
right.
know, yes. No, they're helpless. And guess what? They live with that forever.
Yeah, you fuck that kid up. Odds are that kid is not going to be years and years of therapy probably to get that kid in a happy spot. You've ruined that person's life. And I don't know, man. This again may be an unpopular opinion, but I don't know, man. I think that those people either need to stay in prison, or we just need to, you know what I mean? Like those people don't need to be walking around doing that shit.
In order to form an opinion on that, like who deserves, who can be killed and who can't, right? I think the reality needs to be like kind of like set. Like, do you believe in God and do you believe in the commandments and those things, or do you believe in science, or do you believe in both, like a hybrid, or like where do you think that this is and so this is the conversation that I'm trying to lead this into. Clark and I were talking about an article that came out that basically said that we could be living in a simulation. The chances are
the Matrix theory, bro.
50-50 that we're living in a simulation. Okay. And so Clark said to me, basically at the end of the conversation, what difference does it make? And I said to him, it makes a big fucking difference, because if this isn't about morality and this isn't about being good to people, that's something I strive to do. I strive to be good to people. I strive to leave each relationship better than it was before, I came in. And that's in business, in life, and friends. I try to add value where I can. And I don't know that I would be so concerned about adding value to people if I thought that this is a single player game and I'm in some,
Well, maybe to Clark's point is from I guess a very theoretical level, what you're saying is true. But if it is what it is, it still is. If this is a simulation, it still feels real and it still affects other people. And if I'm kind to you, it still makes your day better.
It makes putting pedophile decision to death much easier, because what do I give a shit? It's not real.
Well, I mean, it makes it easy for me just because you're touching kids and you fucking need to stop. I don't care if it's a simulation or real. Like, you need to stop fucking with kids. And how
about people that shake babies to death? I've seen a couple of those in the news.
That's very wrong, but that can also sometimes be a mixture of, and I'm not saying that for a fucking tag in this shirt that's driving me crazy. I'm not saying that those people, but that can be a mixture sometimes of like what's it called? Postpartum depression mixed with a lot of things. And like a lot of times those people, now not all the time, because sometimes those people are just pieces of shit, but sometimes those people end up regretting that more than you can imagine, because they were not right in the head when they did it, and then once it's done, you can't
like
undo
a temporary insanity kind of situation.
Right. I've heard some pretty fucked up stories about women.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that is a valid point. But
so I mean, you can't treat it all the same, right? But that could be a temporary insanity thing where a woman's dealing with postpartum depression. Now, somebody that puts cigarettes out on a kid, that's a different story. That's not postpartum depression. That's a piece of shit, and that person should be tied up and beat. You know what I mean? Or put to death. Either one.
Yeah.
You know, if you're intentionally harming a child, man, I don't know. Here's the thing. If you're intentionally harming a child, whether that's breaking their arms or beating them or molesting them or putting cigarettes out or whatever, there's something not right. A normal person is going to have the reaction you just had. Ugh.
Yeah.
So obviously there's something not right in that person's brain that I don't know that they need to be in society, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just
agree.
don't know that, obviously, because something with their morality compass is way fucked up. Because most normal people, if you say that, they're like, it turns your stomach to even think about it. So for them to be able to carry out that act, man, something's not.
Yeah.
The wires are crossed, and I don't know that you can ever have that person in public and it be a safe situation.
Yeah.
So it's a tough call. It's a tough thing.
Did you hear that Penelope, the company that made our first bourbon, that they sold to MGP? Is that right? Is that what it's called, MGP?
MGP is a company that makes a shit ton of whiskey.
Heard they bought them for like $100 million.
MGP bought them?
Yeah.
Why would MGP be buying up?
I guess I don't know, but they invested a lot of money in them. It sounds like the staff is staying on and the owner, but
right there.
But
wait, there. That bottle right there.
Yep, good stuff.
That's Penelope barrel strength. What's the one you have? Is it a toasted? What's the one you have again?
No, we have a rye.
A rye?
Yeah, it's like 118 proof.
That one
I sent you a bottle, right?
No, you say this every fucking podcast. No, and then every podcast you say, "We'll get that to you. We'll get that to you."
It's on its way. Hey, while you're back there, make me an old fashioned, kid.
This is 4 grain. This is straight bourbon whiskey, 4 grain barrel strength. It is 115 proof.
Yeah, they go high. They know what we want. Penelope, I give him credit. He's like the Pravada of bourbon because he's like, I know what they want. They don't want this bullshit. They want this stuff.
The guy at my local liquor store that I go to a lot, Shores, he was telling me that his favorite is they have a toasted barrel version, and he said it's his favorite of the.
It's so good.
Is it delicious? I haven't had it. I'm going to pick up a bottle.
Bro, they're from Jersey. They're from Jersey. To have this much success as a bourbon company and be from Jersey, your product has to be unbelievable. And it is unbelievable stuff.
They're from Jersey?
They finished their barrels in Jersey, I believe. But yeah, they're based out of Jersey. So maybe they just have it shipped in from MGP. I don't know.
Yeah, well, because it says distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, bottled by Penelope Bottling Company in Bardstown, Kentucky.
Okay.
So
they bottle it
They bottle it in Kentucky. If the distilled in Lawrenceburg makes me think that this is probably MGP.
Yeah,
right.
For sure. Oh, it definitely is. They've been watching their growth and said we want in.
So they were already using MGP's juice, and MGP was like, "Hey, we want a piece of that pie."
Right.
I have not had much of this. If you can tell, it's almost completely full. I tasted it when I got it.
It looks cool.
I get so many fucking bottles that I have a hard time. Hold on. I have a hard time keeping up with all of it, man, because there's just whiskey these days. I mean, we truly are in the whiskey renaissance, right? I mean, there's more whiskey pumping out these days than there ever has been in the history of ever. I mean, there's just so many whiskeys.
Bro, it tastes better than other liquors. It just does, man. It tastes better. That's it. It's all really. If rum was so amazing, rum would be crushing it, and it will have its time again. But tequila, bro, they say tequila was a fad, but the sales are still through the roof. When
No,
people like
tequila's
some,
having a little bit of a insurgence, man. Tequila, people are getting in. You know, when we were teenagers, tequila was all about just taking shots, right?
Mhm.
Lime, salt, shot. That was tequila. Now people are getting into tequila the same way they get into whiskey with like sipping it and getting
Amazing.
the aged ones that have been
It's
aged in
cool.
barrels.
It's cool stuff, man. You can do a lot with mezcal and tequila, man.
Dude, I got a mezcal the other
I love
day
mezcal.
that reminds me a little bit of a peated scotch.
Yeah.
Like it's got that same kind of
Smoky.
smoky vibe
Yeah.
to it. Yeah,
It's smoked.
yeah, it's good. I'm not gonna lie. A lot
Yeah.
of people hate mezcal. But then they're probably the same people that don't like Isla scotches, smoky scotches. What's funny is my buddy
Those are the
Taylor,
sour apple martini crop.
well, what's funny is my buddy Taylor, for the most part, I would agree with you and say that it's people that don't like smoky scotches, but my buddy Taylor loves Islas.
Mm-hmm.
Lagavulin 16 is one of his favorite whiskeys. He loves smoky scotches, but he hates mezcal. And I'm like, bro, how can you like smoky scotch that much and not like mezcal? To me, it's a very similar kind of flavor profile.
Some of the
there's
mezcal
obviously
get
different-
like gin-like, and it's interesting stuff to say the least, man. Very interesting.
Now that is one spirit that I've never been a huge fan
No
of.
one is.
He's like, no one is. Some people love gin, man.
Only for mixing. That's it.
Oh yeah.
What's crazy to me is that gin is so pungent on the nose, yet it blends into mixers like no other spirit on the market.
Well, it's very like herbaceous, right? There's a lot of herbs and there's a lot going on there that I just don't care for. Now, every now and then a gin and tonic, maybe, okay, it's a summer day, but like
no one
honestly,
cares for it. I don't like that shit either. It's the easiest one to make too, so everyone tries to pawn it out.
Yeah, it's
all the bourbon companies have like their beginner gin, when they're starting out because they got to age.
because they got to make money for the 8 years their damn whiskey's aging.
Yeah, rum's a tough one too, man. I got into rum for a minute. I would try to get people to drink it, and they'd be like, I'm good.
Foursquare's delicious though, dude.
Foursquare's
amazing.
Foursquare's amazing.
Delicious.
That's the standout is Foursquare out of that whole movement. That's really the standout. I do appreciate a good aged rum from time to time. However,
it is good with a cigar.
It is good with a cigar, but there's for that I'll do cognac. I'm a cognac guy. I love cognac.
You are a cognac guy.
I love cognac and Armagnac. This is the stuff, It's not meant to be drank the way I drink it, but to savor it with a cigar, oh, that's the stuff right there, man.
I still have not found anything better with a cigar than a good whiskey. I've tried a few cognacs because you turned me on to it, and I will say I enjoy it. It's good, and I do like it. I've tried rums, and I will say it's good. I do enjoy it with a cigar sometimes, but I have not found anything. For me, it's a personal thing. Everybody's palate's different. That hits better with a cigar than when you get the right cigar whiskey pairing.
Oh, it's so good. It really is. It's probably the best.
Magical.
They say coffee, but I don't think so. I think coffee is fantastic, of course, and it's the staple. But, man, there's nothing like whiskey in a cigar because the whiskey cures your mouth a little bit, too. And so you can get past just the sensation and focus more on the flavors that you're getting.
It also kind of cleanses your palate really nicely, too, man. It washes it all out.
Well, that's the thing. I'm always – you're good at the sip. I'm always sipping in between each puff, and before you know it, the bottle's halfway gone and you're sick.
No, dude. I can pour a 2-ounce pour in a Glen or whatever, and I can sip on that slowly throughout pretty much an entire cigar.
Wow.
So an hour and a half for 2 ounces.
I'm gonna try that one of these days.
You just little sip, man.
I keep trying, but
it's kind of like retrohaling.
Yes. No, I retrohale every puff.
Yeah, you don't do that, man. You don't do that.
Why not?
Then you end up with your nose all stuffed up and your fucking boogers look like goddamn drywall mud.
Clears my sinuses, Jeremy.
I liken sipping whiskey with a cigar to retrohaling. I don't take a sip every puff. I don't retrohale every puff. It's probably every third, fourth puff. I take a sip, little retrohale, little, you know what I mean? It's every third or fourth puff. That way you can stretch out a whiskey. Because a lot of times, man, whiskey's pretty pungent. If you got a good whiskey, especially something 110, 115 proof, that flavor kind of hangs in there in your palate for a while. It doesn't go away immediately right after the first time you take a puff. It's there 2-3 puffs later.
Yeah.
So you just keep puffing, and when it starts to die down, It's not really tasting the whiskey anymore. 2-3 puffs later, you're like, it's time a little refresher, a little sip.
I like it. I'm gonna try tonight. In fact, I think that's a good place to bring our fifth. This is number five. This is great. It's good therapy for me to be able to just sit and talk with you and catch up.
Yeah, man. It's good.
And
it's good because I know before this, sometimes we would go months because we both stay busy without having a chance to kind of catch up and talk. And this means at least once a month we get a good hour and a half uninterrupted to just shoot the shit. And
love that.
I mean, and we're all over the place. It truly is like being at your local pub and just the way conversations evolve at a pub. You're just talking about bullshit and whatever's happening. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna talk to these guys about you. They did an
Dude,
article.
I saw you. I saw you did
Big shout out to Cigar and Spirits.
The shot in there of you is great. Who took the shot?
That was Johnny Taquitos, man.
Dude, that
props
was
to him.
That looks great in the magazine. You posted a picture on your Instagram, and I was like, look at Brian looking like a full spread in GQ or something, bro. That picture looks fucking dope, man.
You know what?
Looks great.
As good as the picture is, that what they wrote was really, 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 really nice. They were able to capture the essence of what we're doing without, I don't know how to say it, but they were really able to capture the essence of what we're doing, and it was nice to read. It was like very reassuring, and just gave me that boost of like, this is why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like it was very cool. It was very cool. So
I've said it a million times, man. You're important to the movement.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that so much.
You and Provider are an important part of the movement, man.
I love it. I'm just lucky to be here. So I have some of the coolest stuff on its way to you. I'm gonna hang up now, and I'm making you a package for your birthday. Enjoy your new bar. It looks amazing. Have fun with that.
Thanks, buddy.
And
I still need to tweak the lighting a little bit. I feel like I'm a little green. I think I need to tweak some of the lighting and the color grading a little bit, but I'll have it dialed in 2 or 3 more videos. I'll have it good dialed in. I appreciate you, brother.
Okay, my man. I'll see you soon.